what it is, Danny X. Here again, hanging out with Uncle Chill, checking out some Chimaev versus Usman. God damn, I'm excited for this one. It's gonna be a fucking banger. See what you got to say. I fast forwarded through his commercial here.
On code Chill, that's gonna save you 15%. Or guys, just click on the link below. So I woke up this morning at 4:30. Had to get the sleep out.
Yeah, I wake up at about 3 every goddamn morning, and I'll force myself to go back to sleep sometimes, but usually I'm just wide awake.
My eyes. Get the warm coffee down my throat, clear my voice a little bit. I was going on ESPN. And it was a split screen situation, right? You guys have seen this where there's the host. That's where
yeah, man. Starting to become really familiar with that there split screen.
I came in. One side of the screen, Khamzhat Chimaev. Other side of the screen, Kimaru Usman. We're talking co-main event, UFC 294, #1 contenders match, and
yeah! Woo! All right. Just had to get that in there. That's going to be a fucking banger, dude.
I asked a couple of things of Chimaev. And Chimaev was great. I mean, Chimaev is a lot of fun to be around. And Chimaev was there first. I mean,
honestly, Chimaev does look like fun, dude. Like, I mean, like crazy fun.
My coffee, he's sitting there in the hotel in Fight Island. We're having a little bit back and forth as we're waiting for Kimaru. But as soon as Kimaru popped on, there was a different Chimaev. The competitor came right in. I mean, you might as well flip the switch. And
no, and really, you can see it in Khamzhat's eyes. Like, he looks way more happier for this fight. He looks a lot more stoked for this fight. And personally, I want to see both of those. Paulo Costa versus Khamzhat absolutely has to Khamzhat, you know, however you want to call it. All right, technical difficulties. Here we go. Dealing with it. Yeah, so as a fan, I definitely want to see, you know, it makes me excited to see the fighter more excited for who they're facing. Me, I don't like it when fighters are like, yeah, this person's going to be absolutely no challenge. I'm just going to blow right through them. It's like, why the fuck are we even watching it? Roll with it, Chill.
Asked Chimaev a couple of questions, though. Like, by example, I just said, hey, 170 pounds, is that out of the picture? And he wouldn't say yes. He said he's going to win the championship.
Okay, Chimaev absolutely has the potential to be a 3, if not 4 weight division champion. He absolutely has that potential. And if he's going to get that 170 belt at some point, he's going to have to do it sooner rather than later. Because as a wise man once said, you don't get lighter as you get older.
Ship at middleweight. I said, okay, but no more 170, right? This champ stuff and going up to 205 and all this talk that we used to hear. And he was just very calm. Said, Chael, brother, I am going to be champion at middleweight. And I said, okay, well, about that, Chimaev. So now Kimaru's here, right? We're doing the split screen. But I said that. I said, you know, about that. If you beat Usman and you become the #1 contender, I said, you know, you're supposed to fight Paulo Costa.
I'm kind of doing these out of order here. I got a lot of catching up to do. The one big thing I've noticed about doing the instant reactions is I want to get my authentic first reactions. So that means I cannot watch Chael's videos until I'm in a state where I can do my reactions. So, you know, that's an impact that I did not expect that I'm seeing immediately in my YouTube watching experience, you know, but is what it is. It's a small price I got to pay. If I did this shit a year ago, I'd have some traction by now. Roll with it, Chael.
Paulo reveals to us that he had 3 weeks prior cost him the fight, insert the former champion. But if you beat the former, Dana has announced that this is officially a #1 contenders match, and that is something that he did not announce when it was Paulo Costa. So was that part of your negotiation, right? Like, as much as Kimaru is getting credit for taking it on short notice, you're also...
Even though Dana might not have a set officially for the Apollo versus for the Apollo versus Khamzhat, that it was #1 contender. It was definitely mentioned by all the fans, which is what matters anyway. But everyone kept saying, which is one thing I did not like, that it was only a #1 contender match for Khamzhat. And the reasoning behind it is that Paulo already had his shot. But I mean, come on, how many people who have had their shot before and get a title shot again right after, you know. So that's definitely failed logic, because whoever won that fight, you know, unless it was a total like snoozer, like Rose and Esparza, that is one championship fight that should have gotten the motherfucking draw. Out of all those, you know, the last couple ones that we had that got the draw, the Ankalaev and Jan, that got the draw. Nah, that Esparza and Rose should have got a goddamn draw. No one should have went home with the belt on that night. Anyway, I digress.
Taking a different opponent on short notice. Did you demand that it was number one contender? He said, of course not. He was almost confused by the question, like genuinely. He said, of course, I demand nothing. And I said, Chimaev, give me a prediction. Are you going to beat Kimaru Usman? He said, I'm going to smash everybody. He said,
I mean, come on, man. That's a layup question. What are you going to do? No, I'm not. I don't know. I think I might give this one to him. It's like, just tell me how bad you're going to smash is the question. Not, are you going to win? It's not, are you going to win? It's how good are you going to... Anyway.
I will smash everybody. I will maul him. I said, well, let's look into how. One thing that you've always had an advantage of, again, I'm talking to Shemaev. Kamaru's right there listening to us, but I'm talking to Shemaev. So one thing that you've always had an advantage over people is with the conditioning. You've weaponized pace. You've been able to put more attacks and more shots up against the board.
Mr. I don't like to do the X's and O's himself, breaking it down for us.
Than your opponents, but that's also what Usman's known for. Not to mention, Usman has only and exclusively fought for the last half a decade in 5-round fights. 3 rounds, this is very easy for him. Can you rely on that same conditioning?
Yeah, the only concern I really have for Kimaru is his damn knee, you know, and knowing a Khamzhat, he's going to be going after that knee. I would, you know, if it's a known weak link, I mean, that's just like an arrow, that's a bullseye right there. But even without Khamzhat specifically going after it, I'm still worried about that knee, like just something random, like it going out during the fight or something, and we don't get the full potential of the fight that we deserve as fans.
And moreover, can you rely on the same wrestling? You're now taking on a national wrestling champion. First time ever. And he laughed. He said, of course, brother. To both things. Of course.
You gotta love his swag, man. You gotta love his swag. And you know Kimaru does. You can see that little gleam in Kamaru's eye, too. Like, he's been wanting some of that Khamzhat ass, man. He's gonna get all up in that Khamzhat.
I can out-wrestle him, of course. I can out-condition him. I will smash him. And at some point in there, he slipped in, I will finish him. That's a very big claim. Beating Kimaru Usman is one thing. Finishing Kimaru Usman, but it is most likely if there's going to be a finish, which is a
I beg to differ. I got money on Kimaru finishing the Khamzhat.
submission. I don't think we've ever seen Kimaru submitted, have we? And we saw the head kick.
Thank you, Colby. Colby Covington, man. I mean, we probably disagree on a lot of things in life, but goddamn, just some of the shit you say, bro, I'm loving it. But I'm a degenerate. Don't take my fucking word for it. If I'm loving it, there's something wrong with it for sure.
Around the world, and there was some other fight. It was like Kamaru's first fight ever before he was even within the organization. I don't know anything about it. I don't know who the opponent was. But I can't even close my eyes and imagine Kimaru Usman being caught in some kind of a wrestling, grappling type maneuver and having to say uncle.
Anyone can get caught at any point, standing or on the ground, and that's the fun of it, isn't it? Like, not knowing the outcome 100% for sure, because if you know the outcome, what's the point of even having the contest? Like, if you absolutely know the outcome, you know, which is one of the things that makes MMA the greatest sport on the planet. I do believe, like, I could not stand pro wrestling for the same reason that I love MMA. It's the reality behind it, the reality of the combat.
It was a very interesting claim. I wanted to see this fight. I wanted to see this fight for years. I want to see it even more now. So now I go over to Kimaru Usman. I said, Kimaru, I followed your whole career. I even followed your wrestling career in college and on the international level. I don't know of a time that you've ever called somebody out.
For me as a fan, probably with a lot of other casuals, because I've just been a casual my whole life, just following the sport as my number one sport my whole life. I mean, I guess I don't know every single fighter on the roster, and I don't know everyone's story, so I'm a casual, just like the rest of y'all.
I don't know of a time that you've ever lobbied behind the scenes and or publicly for a fight, but you did with Chimaev. Why? Is it about him?
Here we go.
And Kimaru is very complimentary. He said, man, I think Chimaev comes as advertised. The real deal, I think he's the future. I think he's explosive. I think he's fast. I think he wrestles well. I think he punches hard. I think he's great. I just think...
Kimaru's coming to take every goddamn thing Khamzhat has on the table, dude. He's coming to take every goddamn thing Khamzhat has. And he's going for the jugular, and that's what I love about this fight is Kimaru is not afraid of Khamzhat, which is the same. Really, that's the same reason why I was really looking forward to the Paulo, because you can just tell Paulo is not scared, dude. Paulo with the broken hand back when Khamzhat broke up in the PI, all up in the octagon, talking shit, and Paulo was rowdy bowdy, bowing the fuck up from the flow up. That's what I liked about it. Even right now, Paulo's like, I beat you with one arm, even though you're a dumb fuck, Paulo. You need both arms. Come on now. I mean, I think you can beat him too, but you're going to need both your damn arms, homie. Roll with it, chill.
I can beat him. So I asked him a very similar question, having to do with if he gets a victory and becomes number one contender and draws into Sean Strickland. Many people don't know if Usman and Strickland fought, it would actually be a rematch. They fought before...
Great point. And I think that is the biggest motivator that actually brought Kimaru Usman up. Like, he was hanging on going up, but I think that was the thing. It's like, oh, goddamn, Sean's got the belt. Pff, fucking, I got this. I done had it. I'll get it again. Come here, Sean. I think in a way Kimaru is looking past Khamzhat, not in a bad way. I think he's looking past him to the goal of Sean, which is motivating him. I'm not saying he's looking past him in like a negative sense where he's not, fully preparing for him and whatnot. I just think that he's got that laser focus on that belt up there. He's like, if my boy Izzy don't got the belt, I'm gonna go up there and hold it for him for a little bit.
Was Strickland before Kimaru was Kimaru. They fought up an undercard at a UFC at 170, and Usman beat him. And it was a competitive fight. For sure, Usman won. He may have even won all 3 rounds. For sure, he won, but it was hard. He worked really hard, and Sean's a lot bigger and a lot better and a lot more confident now.
I actually haven't seen that fight. Need to go back and watch it. I guess that's the casual in me.
Interesting match. What do you think? And he said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking towards. And if I had a miss, and I asked Kimaru straight up, right in front of Chimaev, I said, Kimaru, are you going to win this fight on Saturday? Just like that. Are you going to beat this guy? And he laughed. But he said, yeah, he was going to become the number one contender. Both guys said, yes, I can beat this guy. And there's not very many.
And both guys fucking meant it, dude. That's what makes fights great, when both people mean it. Like really, and you can see it in their eyes.
Fights that you have ever seen where both guys thought they were going to.
Which I think what is a compelling part about the face-offs is because the eyes are the window to the soul and all. So people really want to get up in that soul,
Win. The best fights that you've ever seen are when both guys truly believe they're both going to win. But generally, you don't have fights that are lobbied for it and campaigned for, right? The guy lobbying and campaigning is proving that he thinks he can win. That's why he's working so hard to get it. I know you see 2 guys go out there, and I know you've been told your whole life about confidence, and you believe these guys are confident, and they got ice in their veins, and nothing rattles them. 0 of that is true. Every fight you see, both guys know, going in fight, who's going to win. Sometimes they get a big surprise, right? It's what dreams are made of. Sometimes one of them underperforms. But it is very interesting. And I do think, moreover than anything, that we really are going to have a number one contender. We get told that quite often going into a second the fight is done. It will never be addressed again. They will never be talked about again. As though it was never stated in the first place. And a lot of times when it's stated, it's only for one guy, but that guy is a clear favorite. So then when that guy gets beat, we sweep it. And I just don't feel that's what's happening here.
I think that depends on the performance and what you do with it right after the performance. You know, that shit can change quick.
Short notice fight. There's a lot on that. There's an appreciation put on that. When the fight got announced, boom, within 24 hours, it got announced as number one contender's match. I think we all know that's the track Chimaev's on. I think we're now finding out that's the track that Usman's on. But if Usman has a win over Chimaev and he's already beaten Strickland, there's not really a way to deny him. There's not really a way to say you don't belong, you've only done...
Banger. It's just giving me a fucking banger. I don't even care who wins. I just want to... May the best man win. Fucking... I will make a pick, though.
This division once.
Ah, fuck it. Kimaru. I ain't waiting. Kimaru. I'm picking Kimaru.
And it wasn't even a championship round fight. Very tough to say when he's already defeated the champion. Plus, Usman's a veteran. I don't think he's going to let it slide. I think he's smart enough to hold them, to hold the words that are being said today. The narrative today.
Now, with how brash Chimaev is, like, I know that doesn't go too well over in the Muslim community and all, but that's the part that I like about him personally. As an American, I like that brashness.
And make sure it stays alive in the post-fight interview, which is the mistake so many others don't do. They sandhag in their own career and they don't... A lot on this. Chimaev says he's going to... Kamaru said, I'm going to beat him.
Kamaru's going to finish the Khamzhat for goddamn sure. He's going to finish that shit left and right. I don't know about finish, but I got Kimaru, man. I'm pulling for Kimaru. Goddamn, make it happen, bro.
We'll find out on Saturday.
Hell yeah, there it is. DarkLight and the Bad Guy talking about some Kimaru Usman versus Khamzhat Chimaev. And yeah, that is a banger, dude. Straight up banger. And I still want to see Paulo and Khamzhat also. Yeah, they got to settle all that shit. Apologize for my technical difficulties. You know, if I waited to get everything perfect and have all the equipment and shit, I'd probably never get around to it. Like, I should have started this shit a year ago. I've been watching Chael for years, and I'm just using Chael. Every time Chael posts, I'm going to post just to get my YouTube reps in, and it'll get better as I go. I'm working on, you know, all the details in the background and shit, and let's roll with it, man.